Hello everyone! Getting started a bit late with tonight's stream, but I've had some things going on. Oh gosh. Forgot about my controller issues. Anyway. Yeah, got a bit of a late start, but hey, we're started now. It's gonna be short tonight. I am rather pressed for time, unfortunately. So this probably won't be going much more than an hour. But I'm excited to see how much progress we can make. If I can remember where to go. So I think right now we just need to... I think right now I want to get to Mantis Lords, get through them, and then see if I get anything from like the Mark of Pride chest. I suppose I could go to Deep Nest if I don't have anywhere else I could really go, because my options are rather limited with no Mantis Claws. I'm gonna need to see if I can do anything. I'm guessing I can't, but I'll need to confirm whether or not I can do anything with the City of Tears before I get the City Crest. Beyond that, though, we do need to see what we actually get from the Mantis Claw itself here. Is it gonna be a vessel fragment? Ah, okay, cool. Not a major upgrade, but hey, I'll take it. I think we're just gonna keep looking around for... Oh gosh, there's so many of them. See if I can remember where I need to go to get the last... Get the last of those levers. I keep forgetting somehow that the Grimm child is the one making all these little noises. I don't know how I forget it. I guess I just never really expected him to be as noisy as he is. Yeah, but he does some nice damage though, so it works out. I don't think I can get... yeah, I might just be a little stuck right now. I can get a fair amount of places with the Monarch wings, but not everywhere. I don't think there's a way I can get up here. I don't really have any way of getting up. There's a slight problem. Especially because I don't think... I think I might just be stuck for the moment here. I just have to leave. It's looks... Yeah, I don't have the Mantis Claw, so I'm actually kind of stuck. Well, that throws a wrench into plans. What am I going to do from here? So I know I can't really do Crystal Peak because you still need Mantis Claws to get much of anywhere there. And you know, considering this is my first randomizer, I really don't know how many places you can go with some of the mobility upgrades, but not all of them. Especially when you're getting them out of order. Makes me glad I'm not playing with the split claw mod, though, because that would be... Oh, that would be a different kind of pain. Being able to wall jump off of left or right walls. Insanity. Ah, that zero-notch unbreakable greed. It's really nice. Really nice. Maybe I'll have to go back to Dirtmouth and, at some point and just see what I can buy. Oh, just realized I think I can actually make it to Salubra. I might be able to. I'll have to check and see if I can make it up to her. Because she'll have stuff for me to buy. Like, normally I like her selling the charms, but even without charms, even with those randomized, those could all be... Any of those could be useful items. Is there anything to get up here? It occurs to me that if I play randomizers enough, I will eventually develop a better memory for where things are in this game. Or where you can at least, it's at least possible to get things. If not, where they actually are. I'll take another grub. I've already forgotten what the grub bonuses are. But hey, the more we rescue, the more stuff we get. So I'm not gonna turn my nose up at an opportunity to help one out. Now we already opened this. So we want to get up. Keep moving up. Get back. Up to Dirtmouth. Can't use the freaking stag stations. Hold on a moment. There. Okay. Not this way. Not this way. Yeah, I might have, anyone looking might have noticed that I actually originally was, that for a while I had the stream scheduled for like 7, then I pushed it to 8. And then, oh wait, yeah, we can get the Dirtmouth, but, yeah, we can get the Dirtmouth, but, it's not going to be open, is it? Just to make sure that it's not, like, gated behind getting multiple stag stations or something. Let me out! Let me out! Why? Why can we just... Why did they do this? Luckily, we have bench warp. I hope there's like an item or something I can pick up somewhere later that actually unlocks the stag stations. That'd be really nice. And maybe unlocks the Dirtmouth stag station entrance. Anyway, I was going to say the reason I'm actually late getting started here, it's because I kind of last minute ended up tagging along to hang out with some friends in the physical realm. No, maybe I should have taken off Grimm Child just for going through Fog Canyon, because he might get me killed. There's a good chance he gets me severely injured or killed. Yeah, so I got a chance to hang out with some people, including one friend that I have not seen in person in quite a long time, actually. Because we all were in a D&D group, all my D&D groups are 5th edition groups, for anyone wondering. This group we were playing, we played the Curse of Strahd module, though it had, I know it had a fair amount of homebrew alterations and stuff based on based off of fan-made materials. I don't know that much about what was planned, but it's been on a hiatus for a while due to real life, you know, getting in the way of things. So it's nice getting to see, because the DM of that game and two of the other players are players in the game I run. Oh, we got Geo. Okay, sure. Just found a lifeblood cocoon. Something actually useful. Because I think I mentioned that I run a game. Was weekly for a while, now it's bi-weekly. Yeah, I've got other two players in that in the Curse of Strahd game were people I don't actually see in person that often for a variety of reasons. So I like taking chances to get to see them when they arise. Now we're back at Green Path. We're closer. See, I knew it was gonna leave me, I was gonna be cutting it close with getting this because, unfortunately I do have to be up early again tomorrow, so I can't really go. That's why this is gonna be short, gonna be not much more than an hour, because I can't afford to totally screw my sleep schedule. Of course, that would all change if I could get this, if I eventually were to get this channel to, profitability, or to the point where I'm, making some money, some appreciable amount of money, then I could definitely see myself, working a bit less. Oh, sweet. The Hunter's Journal is actually the Hunter's Journal. I wonder if does that get randomized? I don't know. But I'm not at that point yet, so it is what it is. I work with with what time I've got. And when I'm, actually when I'm not, suddenly leaving to hang out with rarely seen friends, I can go longer. It was getting to hang out with someone that I don't see that often. Just had some interesting threads of conversation, including the burning question of if eating a grass type Pokemon would be vegan, and I don't think we ever actually came to an answer. Yeah, I'll buy the map. Because, you know, on the one hand, they're like not normal plants. They seem to be considered animals in universe, but they're also kind of plants. It's really strange. But that conversation went places. Went to some interesting places. Went to some odd places. Went places that I don't think I'm gonna go at the moment. Instead, though, I could, 'cause, you know, I haven't given enough D&D stories about the campaign I actually run, so why not continue that trend and just speak a bit about the currently on hiatus Curse of Strahd game, because this was actually my, I think, I don't remember exactly how the timing worked out, but I think that was actually the first game I was in where we played a published adventure. Because I had previously, my first D&D experience was homebrew. I've made my own homebrew campaign, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think the Curse of Strahd game and a Descent into Avernus game, who was DM'd by one of my players who was also a player in the Curse of Strahd campaign. Unfortunately, Descent into Avernus has since been cancelled, but you know, things happen. Life often gets in the way. The Curse of Strahd game, I've had some fun. I've liked it, even though we're generally a fairly strong party, and just being relatively strong kind of screws with the horror atmosphere. But considering that the guy running it is not as kind of a new DM, I think he's done pretty well with what he's had. So if you're listening to this, I know I've said it before, but let me remind you that I think you did a good job, and I think you will continue to do a good job once we get started again. Because this was my, I was actually quite looking forward to being a player for a change, because I do really enjoy being DM, but it's just, you know, it's a different experience. Oh, did the Crossroads get in? What did I get that triggered infected Crossroads? What did I get that... What are the triggers for infected Crossroads? Is it... Oh gosh, now I have to remember where I got things. Or when I got things, rather. Okay, what have we got? I don't have enough for any of this stuff, I don't think. Talon of Seal, Dive, Arcane Egg, Vessel Fragment, Thorns of Agony, Weaver Song. I can get money. Sharp Shadow. I like Sharp Shadow, but at 3 notches, ugh, that hurts. Well, though I don't remember what gets the Crossroads infected, here we are. The Crossroads are infected. Unfortunately, I don't believe this unlocks any new items for us. We're still gonna get to Salubra, though. Yeah, I was really looking forward to being a player again after, because I do really enjoy being the DM, but you know, it's nice to get some time on both sides of the screen, I think. For this game, I decided to play a shifter Astral Self monk who and for those that don't know, anyone unfamiliar, I'm gonna assume some level of familiarity with like RPGs, like RPG video games and such. So monks are, as you'd expect if you're familiar with these things, they are their whole thing is punching people. They have good unarmed attacks, and kind of a distinctly more Eastern flavor than most of the other, most everything else in the game. The Astral Self monk in D&D 5 basically gives you a stand, sort of. So, of course, as me and 2 other players are JoJo fans, so there have been a great many jokes made about my dude's stand power. I've really enjoyed it. Being able to... There's just something nice about being able to punch from farther away without having to, like, be a bugbear or something. Okay, how am I gonna get to Salubra? Let's just heal up. Yeah, being able to go from being able to just mess with damage types and hit from farther away, just with unarmed attacks, without not having to invest in using reach weapons or anything like that. You just straight up punch people with your stand from far away. Having all the mobility was also quite nice, because monks get increased movement speed too. It works to nicely to facilitate playing a sort of skirmisher role. Even though many would question the usefulness of such a role. Regardless of how useful it is, or how useful you might think it is a thing you can do, so. How do I get to Salute? No. That's... okay. Here... alright. Okay. I'm honestly used to having Wayward Compass on when I'm just wandering. So this is also strange. Not having it. I bet when we get it, it'll be like 3 notches or something stupid. And that obviously, you know, Wayward Compass, the whole thing is that it makes it easier to keep track of where you are on the map. It's not really necessary, but it's kind of nice. Oh god, why are these things so persistent? Ah, gotcha. I'm finding that I can definitely agree with some of the common complaints about 5th edition monks, especially feeling like you're being strapped for key points, because that's your resource that you use to do pretty much all your cool stuff. Because beyond that, you can move farther, and like you can punch an extra time per turn, which isn't... It's nice. It's not really that interesting, though. Not as interesting as... for an Astral Self, summoning your stand to fight, to augment your fighting abilities. Or, you know, or like, you can also spend key to move even farther, which is not always useful, but it's always fun. There are some less useful options as well, but then eventually you get Stunning Strike, and then there's like no other option you really ever need to use. It's just too good. I'm looking forward to coming back to it, partially because one of our other players, the one played by the friend that is only in this campaign that who I don't see, who we don't really see very often in person. Even less so often than we see, than you tend to see people in person nowadays in general. He's playing a warlock who took the ability to see through magical darkness, which is also an ability that with one of the Astral Self abilities you can get lets you, that you can use, also lets you see through magical darkness. So we had ideas for fights where he just casts darkness, and the two of us just go right into it, and then just go to town on whatever unfortunate enemies are in the way. Oh, well, that's a death. Alright, we can't take the short way, of course. We gotta take the long route. Long, painful trek back up. If we had howling wraiths, I wouldn't hate these guys nearly as much as I do right now. At least they're not like primal aspids. That would be worse, but I just respawned them, didn't I? Cease. Cease. Yeah, stay up there. Let me hit you through the platform. Gathering Swarm would be really nice too, especially with this Unbreakable Greed. Alright, again. Oh, you don't. Oh, the stalactites still kill them instantly. Nice. Yeah, we had plans for darkness-based shenanigans. And he was also a particular brand of warlock who focuses on melee combat. So between me running around punching dudes to death and him using a big ol' magic sword, we were gonna have some good times. Just wrecking enemies from darkness. Alas, it has not happened yet. Eventually, though. Eventually, we'll get back to it. The Descent into Avernus game that fizzled out was also... I also enjoyed the character I had for that. It was one set explicitly in the Forgotten Realms, particular around... the first chunk of it starts in the city of Baldur's Gate, which some of you at home may know from the Baldur's Gate series of video games, which, as I understand, are pretty popular. And I think I'd like to get Baldur's Gate 3 at some point after it actually comes out of early access. I'm also but that's honestly mainly because I'm interested in seeing how they translate 5th edition rules into a computer game. Yeah, you spend the first several levels in Baldur's Gate, which, I mean, that I didn't mind that part, but you know, the adventure's called Descent into Avernus. It literally promises in the title that you will venture into the first layer of the Nine Hells, which implies that you will be fighting lots and lots of devils. And, you know, that sounds super interesting, right? You get a chance to go fight a bunch of monsters literally in hell. Hello, Salubra. What have you got for me? An Arcane Egg for 400. Do not Spell Twister. Mask Shard, a 110 Arcane Egg. Another Mask Shard. Rancid Egg, Hellenist Seal. You know how this is normally surrounded by mistakes? Reminds me of anime. I'll grab Spell Twister. Why not? I've been using my Desolate Dive quite a bit. Cheap mask shard, I'll take that too. Need to check how many I have, and I'll buy the 110 Arcane Egg, because I think the 400 one would be very profitable as well, but I know the Arcane Egg will be. Okay, unfortunately we can't actually use Spell Twister without over-charming. Unless we get rid of Grimm Child. I do like Grimm Child, though. Nothing else of great use from Salubra, unfortunately. But we'll move on. See if we can buy anything of interest in Dirtmouth. I think someone had the Luma Fly Lantern, which would be quite nice, actually, because that'll open up a few more places. Not many, but it'll open up a couple new places at least. Anyway, the Descent into Avernus game. It was a fun time. Sadly, we weren't actually in Avernus that long before it kind of fizzled out. It was an interesting little challenge making a character for a setting that I have no investment in. But I made a character that I think everyone seemed to like him well enough. The players did. I don't think all the characters did, but that was one where our group where not all the characters got along, and all of us were totally down with that, though. Which is, you know, that's the kinds of situations like that. Inter-party conflict is fun when everyone's down for it and you're all participating, and it's not just like an extension of real world interpersonal conflict into the game, because that is no fun for anyone. Because he was played an Order of Scribes wizard because I just love messing with damage types, and I really like the idea of getting access to 4th level spells, so I could cast a 4th level fireball and make it deal force damage, so pretty much nothing would resist it. I don't remember if I think I might have pulled off one force ball. I think I got more mileage out of Cloud of Daggers of all spells. Because as it happens, there's also not much that resists magical slashing damage. Oh, hey Tiso, you're still here. Hello, Zote. Goodbye, Zote. I don't think you'll have anything new for me. Big grub song. Soulcatcher. Yeah, you just got the markers. Heavy blow. Eh. Yeah, 410 for the Luma Fly Lantern. I'll take it. Shards. Oh yeah, there's Gathering Swarm. I'll buy it. 0 notch. Let's go! So that is 2 more 0 notch charms that I've bought. Screw it, I'll buy Heavy Blow too. I'm breaking the bank for 0 cost charms. What? Yeah. Mask Shards looking like I've only got 1. Okay. I'll buy 1 too. I think that is it for me. Yep. Now, Gathering Swarm. Heavy Blow. I don't remember if I've ever really used Heavy Blow much. Oh. Oh! It occurs to me that I was thinking that's the Grimm troop sign, right? So yeah, it is. As it turns out, I'm betting this is because we have the Grimm child. So yeah, sure, we'll go talk to Grimm. Got a Vessel Fragment. Hello. Oh. Oh. We're doing this. Okay. Sure thing, buddy. Let's see if I can remember how to fight you. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. See if I can make it work with my controller issues. Ouch. I have fought this dude so many times in Pantheons. Yeah, this is another one that, along with Mantis Lords, feels like a choreographed dance where you're. This one feels like you are just like straight up taking turns because of. So as you might see, these are pretty predictable moves. Like you can pretty easily tell what he's going to do in the moments before he actually moves. And then you get a brief moment to land a couple hits yourself. I have never done this fight with the old nail, though. Okay. Yeah. We'll just grab the, grab our shade. Thank you, Grimm Child. Man, I guess we don't have to actually upgrade the Grimm Child. I kinda wanted to go back. King's Pass, see if we could get to, see if there was anything. Didn't remember if there's anything new we might be able to access. What we've got. So yeah, I was talking about my Avernus character, I believe. I think a major focus, something that ended up becoming a pretty major focus of the character, and I think was that endeared him to the other players a lot, was I gave him I have a familiar, and I love familiars. Yeah, he used Find Familiar. Rather than go with the optimal, with anything like optimal, which I think the general consensus is that the optimal familiar is an owl. I went with a cat. And since you get to choose the creature type of your familiar, it just takes, since it's actually the spirit of a spirit taking the form of a more mundane creature. I decided that my cat familiar would be a fiend. So I have this little fiend cat who I pretty much always portrayed as wordlessly sassing my character at every opportunity. It also helped that I took it, I think, another endearing trait from her was that I made use of the familiar's ability to deliver touch range spells for me multiple times to land critical hits with a shocking grasp, which did feel incredibly satisfying to pull off. Like, I will not lie, that felt amazing. Occurs to me that I have not gone to Brooding Moloch. Which I think is this way. I believe it's this way, yeah. So that is a character that I will definitely be messing with again in the future in some way. Another idea I actually that I actually really like the idea of is I had the vague idea that if we got to a high enough level where my character could learn to summon the spell to summon fiends, then I would have him dismiss the familiar mainly for, yeah, this was not the way to Brooding Moloch, but hey, we got a grub. Dismiss the familiar, summon a fiend, and it would be the familiar again. But this time she would be in a different form. Something closer to her natural form. And most importantly, would be able to speak. And would take advantage of her newfound ability, her newfound powers of speech to make her summoner regret ever enabling that. It would have been absolutely glorious. And I think the last thing I said on the Discord for that game was something along the lines of how the dynamic of silent yet sassy familiar and her long-suffering summoner is one that I dearly love. Okay. Oh. We're just screwed, aren't we? Unless... Yep. We'll hit this geo cache and then... bench warp time! Oh. King's Pass starting chamber counts as a bench. Huh, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna use, if not that exact character again. I would like to see more of where he goes. Since I also intended for him to be, I never really settled on if I wanted what I wanted for like a particular alignment, but I didn't know I wanted him to be not just straightforwardly good. So he was kind of just a... The idea was that he would be kind of self-serving, kind of just a standoffish jerk to most people, but would care a lot about the city of Baldur's Gate and not want it to come to harm. I think he probably ended up coming off as more of a just kind of grumpy neutral, rather than the, and so I kind of envisioned him as something of a, very practical, like, ruthless pragmatist type. I'm not totally sure that came through, but I think that's also just in large part because I don't know how well I'd be able to play a full-on evil character. I really don't. And I'm not entirely sure what that says about me as a player. I mean, I feel like I can go pretty evil with NPCs in the games I run. I don't know about actually playing one though. It seems different to me. Now this is the right area, I think. Yeah. Get a bit more geo. Okay. I could have gone back to try Grimm again, and I don't know that I'm pretty sure, I'm confident I could beat Grimm with the old nail if my controller was at 100% functioning. Hello, Brooding Moloch. Just the thing I wanted to kill. The parry sound is so satisfying. I don't care that parrying doesn't actually really do much of anything. It just sounds satisfying, and that is enough. All I need. Give me some nice noises, and I can. No, I'll just. Yeah, just sound design. That's all I need. Like I said, like I was saying, nice noises. That's all I need to hear. What have you got for me, buddy? Geo. Great value. Kind of interesting if something actually changed with that when you if you came back when the Crossroads were infected. Let's see why that wouldn't really bother with that though. Extra work for dubious benefit. Alright, what have we got? And, so now that I've given some brief info on D&D games I've played in, I probably ought to get into some stuff about the game I'm actually running. The question would be though, because I've been thinking, like, hey man, you really ought to take advantage of all the D&D stories you have for stream content. Because, you know, all sorts of crazy crap goes down. It's something I like talking about, something people seem to enjoy hearing about too. But I've just been kind of wondering, where exactly to start? It's like, do I go all the way back to where things were for the beginning, where things were relatively standard for a while? And then I thought, you know, nah. For now, we're gonna go crazy. Gonna talk about all the weirdness that's happening right now in the campaign as it stands. And that weirdness being that my players just brought back just kind of resurrected isn't exactly the right word since he wasn't really fully dead, but they restored a god to his full power. You could make the argument, there are arguments to be made in and out of universe about whether this was a good idea, but it is something they have done. It's something they've been kind of pushing towards for a while, somewhat unintentionally at first, but then they started getting more active. So just for a bit of background, I kind of use like the lore of the Forgotten Realms as a loose base, while also making my own adjustments and adding some of my own stuff, and adding things from other sources. I'm also using a whole set of homebrewed content based on Monster Hunter. This is not sponsored or anything, but if you think Monster Hunter in D&D sounds like it would be interesting, Amelwyn's Guide to Monster Hunting is really cool. Is pretty cool. It's got some interesting player options and translations of Monster Hunter mechanics into 5th edition The more really interesting part is the Monster Hunter Monster Manual, though, that includes all sorts of interesting creatures of varying challenge levels. So what I did was I took, what's this? A Hallowness seal. Okay, sure. I took, and any either longtime players or people who played to the very end of Monster Hunter World will recognize this. M. Elwin's Guide to Monster Hunting has Fatalis as positioned as a god in their version of the in their like hybrid D&D Monster Hunter cosmology. In that case, so they have Fatalis as like a chaotic, evil deity that's like probably more akin to a demon prince than much else. I liked the idea of having Fatalis be a god. Only this time I decided, no, he's not going to be evil. He's going to be like, he's going to be instead far more neutral. And moreover, we'll have had an age-old conflict with the main dragon gods, Tiamat and Bahamut. In standard D&D lore, those are the gods, respectively, of the chromatic and metallic dragons, which are generally, one group is generally good, the other is generally evil. That is something that does generally tend to hold true in my setting, as well. Though, I'm not willing to say it's a hard and fast rule, necessarily. And also more that, like, and also, I'd say, in my setting, it's important to remember that good is not always necessarily nice, and evil is not always is not necessarily outwardly malevolent or anything. Or so yeah, basically, people can be just about anything can be a bit more. Creatures can be a bit more complex than that. In general, there are some cases like I will still have creatures from other planes, like demons and devils are still going to be fundamentally evil creatures, intent on inflicting suffering in mortals. Just different ones may approach things in different ways. Like you may have some that will it's like a lot of the chaotic demons may try to just straight up cause physical and physical harm to their targets. Whereas the more lawful devils might try to trap them, try to trick hapless mortals into deals that sound appealing but will ultimately condemn them in the future. Anyway, gone on that tangent about alignment. Long story short, the party revived Fatalis because in the lore dump that they've gotten from my my setting, I mentioned the Sardior, the god of gem dragons, who had like no stat blocks for 5th edition at the time, and none of whom have actually shown up in my game yet. But now with Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, there are at least some I could use. I think we're gonna have to go back down here. I think we're gonna have to just, yeah, because there was a dark path in a dark area or two in Green Path I wanted to check out. Basically, in my my lore, there was a it's been ongoing conflict between the dragon deities with eventually Tiamat, Bahamut, and Fatalis all kind of work together to kill Sardior, which had some major consequences for gem dragons. And then at some point, Fatalis thought, hey, at some point, you know, I know that, I know full well that Tiamat and Bahamut will both want to become the most powerful dragon deity, so I'm just gonna create a little artifact here and set up a whole failsafe involving, set up an artifact here that can receive, that can basically hold a little bit of divine power, and then squirrel more of it away within the archpriests of his religion. And then through use of lots and lots of magic, essentially keep a lot of his priesthood in suspended animation for centuries at a time, at least, while they wait for someone to get the artifact, and then start going around killing off the archpriests to collect the divine power they're holding. All to eventually bring it back to a place of essentially what is essentially a manifestation of concentrated divinity that I have definitely not taken from any other works of fiction, because I am a completely original storyteller and I do not draw any concepts from anywhere else. I forgot we hadn't opened this yet. Well, here we go. Is there anything? I don't know if there are any items down this area, but whatever, we'll see. Eventually, if they collected, they used the artifact to collect as much of Fatalis' remaining divinity as possible to restore him from what was essentially I guess you could say it was a sort of almost comatose state after a scuffle with Tiamat and Bahamut. And my players have done just that. They have restored Fatalis. Now, they are solidly on the other two deities' shit lists, or they will be once word start to getting around, which will make things interesting. Especially since they are currently in a nation populated primarily by dragons, half-dragons, and dragonborn. And I also changed Dragonborn lore, so any Forgotten Realms fans, please refrain from telling me how weird that is, because my lore is not Faerun lore. So yeah, they've now kind of pissed off two deities, but they've befriended another, or at least they've earned the respect and gratitude of another. There's another god about to get revived, although this one is Cyric, who pretty much everyone but his own worshippers hates. They're gonna end up finding some of those, looking for some of those worshippers of Cyric, to get a hold of a god-slaying sword, which is, well, we'll see how much use they get out of it. It all depends on what exactly they decide to do. But there is every chance that they could get a good bit of use out of it. It all depends on how many gods they decide they want to mess up. And I look forward to seeing what they do with this power. City storeroom stag. Is that how we unlock stag stations? Or... Okay, I want to test this, and I'm running low on time, so I'm gonna just bench warp. Yeah, because I need to be getting out of here soon. In the next few minutes. So more D&D stories will have to wait. But yeah, my players have revived. Yeah, we're starting with an interesting, probably confusing turn of events to anyone unfamiliar, which is to say everyone but my players and those that we have been keeping in the loop. Someday I will probably end up talking through like the entire campaign plot. I need to figure out how much I can comfortably get away with saying, though. So you never know when one of these players might be listening in. I'm not, and I have to be careful with what I reveal. But yeah, they resurrected Fatalis. They've made some new friends, new enemies, and things are about to get even crazier than they have been. And they don't know the half of it. One of my players in particular, her character, she like lives to see him suffer. And when getting a chance to ask a hag about a future event, he asked what the when the next great tragedy in his life would be happening, and we are currently in these 2 weeks, since we play bi-weekly, in this week between our last session and the next, we're resolving downtime that will leave us with 10 days till tragedy. And I've been waiting for this for so long. I am like, this is a plot point that I've had in mind for a very long time. And I haven't had a lot of plot points in mind, in particular points in mind for a while, but this was one of the things that I have had in my head for quite a while. Unfortunately, I obviously can't really talk about it here at the moment, because one, I don't have time, and two, I don't know if don't know when this particular player might be hopping in or watching the VOD even. Yeah, I'll just say this, that if I do end up deciding I want to talk to the fine folks on YouTube about spoiler stuff, this is directed specifically at I'll use names that I know you'll all recognize. At Prelly, Lotu, Crag, Cadence, Nico, and Balazar. If I tell you guys not to listen, I am trusting you to not listen. Why did I go here? I didn't mean to. Whoops. I'm gonna just rest on the bench. Well, I feel like we got very little done, because I forgot I can't go to the stag station, but hey, we know the Grimm troop is in town, and I can go fight Grimm whenever. I might see if I can get something done about my controller soon. I've had it for a while. I may just get it replaced soon. I don't know. Aside from that, still have no flippin' clue where to find the Mantis Claws, which we need. I'm really curious if the Stag Station pins will actually let me go to Stag Stations I haven't actually visited yet. I kinda hope they do, because that would be funny. And that would get me into the City of Tears, which would open up a decent amount of content, potentially, especially if I can get a simple key from somewhere. Because then that would get me into Royal Waterways, the Abyss, Yeah, those are the main ones. And that would get me access to a couple different items, including whatever Defender's Crest gets turned into, as well as Isma's Tear. For now, though, more randomized Hollow Knight and D&D stories and other mad ramblings will have to wait. So I think I'm gonna just for a little bit of housekeeping stuff before I go. I think this week I'm gonna do similar to what I did last week. Hollow Knight today, obviously. Thursday will probably be Devil May Cry, and then Saturday I will most likely end up starting late because I have other things to do. But I will probably be, since I'm off, I can stay up. I'm off the next day off work. I can stay up really late if I want to, and I'll stream more Pokemon Legends. Which I'll be dead honest, I wanted to play, I was getting the itch to play more. So I have another profile on my Switch. So I started playing on there, and I'm a little bit ahead of where I am on the stream playthrough. So I'm sorry, but it will not be the playthrough. I can no longer say that it will be totally blind. But man, the Pokemon itch that I have not felt for a few years at this point was back. And it felt good to scratch it. Anyway. Hope you've enjoyed. Sorry for the very short stream. I'll try to manage time bit better for the future. For now, though, please feel free to leave comments on anything you feel like about my gameplay, about my D&D stories, and if any of my players end up watching this, any particular stories you think would be good to bring up in a future stream or something. Feel free to remind me there. Leave a like if you liked it. If you liked the stream. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be putting out... I'm going to keep doing everything I can to put out content Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And I'll try to add more if I can. Still trying to get a feel for it, because I'm still somewhat new to actually having a consistent schedule that I keep. But regardless, that's all for now, and I hope to see you next time. See you then.